Hello and welcome to the WWE versus AEW podcast. This is your Wrestle Kingdom 15 Night 1 recap show. We're going to talk my thoughts on the show and more in this episode from the WWE versus AEW podcast. That's it. Night 1 is in the books. I've finally got done watching it. I woke up this morning, UK time, 6:30 in the morning. It was about -3 outside. Really, normally my working day, I work for myself, is about 8 till 3, something like that, 8 till 2. So I thought I'd give myself the morning off, and I'm sat there thinking, do you know what? I'm working outside for like 4 or 5 hours, whatever. I should be there. I shouldn't be sat watching Japanese wrestling. So I'm 20 minutes in and I thought, you know what, I was watching the Hiromu ELP match, I just thought, I'm going to have to go to work here. I went to work and I got back from work about 2 p.m, avoided all the spoilers and watched the full show back, and I've just finished it now and I'm straight onto recording. Big news coming out of the show was Ibushi for the first time became the IWGP heavyweight champion. He is the double champion for the first time. Okada beat Will Osprey in a great match. They were both great matches. The double main event was really, really good main event. We'll run through the show from top to bottom. Upcoming, we'll just talk about those big 2 matches. I mean, for me, I was just saying that the double main event at last year's Tokyo Dome on night 1 was Okada versus Ibushi, which people saw as a match of the year contender. I myself wasn't as big a fan as many people of that match. It was really good, but I wasn't quite as high on it as everyone else. And it was Naito versus Jay White, which was okay. It wasn't like a great match. Whereas this year, the double main event from this year, that was better than last year's. And that was with a crowd. So every credit to the 4 people and Gato involved in the two double main events. The main event matches, they were phenomenal. I mean, I'll get into it. Do you know what? We'll get into it. But Ospreay against the Booshie Ospreay against Okada was so hard hitting. It was that match didn't miss a crowd for me at all, really. Maybe the last minute of the match they missed the crowd, but you could hear everything that was thrown. You could hear Ospreay talking. You could hear B on the outside talking. It was a phenomenal match. The main event, that was amazing. I do think that would have been even better with a crowd going crazy for those near falls. But yeah, so tomorrow is going to be Ibushi defending against Jay White. So that is your big main event for tomorrow. Hiromu won the match against ELP. That is where we're going to start with our review of this show. And Hiromu is going to be facing Ishimori in the semi-main event of tomorrow's show. So, Wrestle Kingdom Night 1, January 4th, 2021, no longer 2020. I was making the brew this morning, the vanilla latte, as the Battle Royal was coming to its conclusion, and the final 4 were Yano, Chase Owens, Booshie and Booshie? And Fale in the final 4. Yano basically, Yano came to the ring to won the match during his entrance because it was the final 4. But then put me in a good mood this morning, actually, was the tune for Wrestle Kingdom. The crazy scientist looking guy in Okada in that music video. I will do my best to get that in the show at some point. Show opens up, Kevin Kelly saying that it's January 4th. You know what that means, as he said that he will be doing on Twitter. That was a nice touch to Brody Lee. And the opening contest was Hiromu against ELP, with the winner going on to face Ishimori tomorrow night. And for me, it was... I was saying this before, I feel like the flippy matches don't really come off as well without a crowd. Compared to like the hard hitting matches don't necessarily need the crowd as much. Look at Walter against Dragunov. Yeah, that's an example. That was fine without a crowd, possibly even better without a crowd. But with the flips and the craziness, you really do need a crowd. And this match was severely hurt, more than anything else on the show, by not having a crowd. be honest, I didn't think the match even... I don't think it would have been a great match even if it had a crowd, but it would have been better than it was. ELP took a big chunk of this match, probably 80 to 85% of this match. We had Hiromu kicking out of a Styles clash. ELP went for... he was doing the Kenny Omega, what was it, the Phantom is Rising spot. He goes for the One-Winged Angel, so he's paying homage to all the former Bullet Club guys. But, yeah, Hiromu just counters the CR2 and hits the bridge for the win. It was pretty much out of nowhere at the match finish. I was like, oh, is that it? I think that was when I decided to go to work and turn the show off. But yeah, it was a decent match, but it was nowhere near the type of blow-away match we're used to expecting from Hiromu. But yeah, it was there. I think the opening match of Wrestle Kingdoms, they never, really these two could probably go out there and you'd say have a 4.5 star match, a classic, but much like Ospreay against Ibushi from 2 years ago, they're never going to do that in the opening match. They don't lay it out for it to be like that, and this match was pretty much like that. I am going to tell you my star ratings for these matches, just to give you a rough idea of my overall thoughts. So I went 3.25 stars on this. It was good, but it wasn't as good as many would have, including myself, would have hoped. Hiromu wins in a pretty good match, but nothing special. Next, we had the Iwgp Tag Team Championships on the line. God challenged Zack Sabre and Taichi. God won the World Tag League last month, beating Finlay and Juice Robinson in the final. I'll tell you one thing, flipping out. God, yeah, two things they had going for him, right? Great theme music, love the theme music, right? Tama Tonga's hair was great. He looked like a greasy, horrible heel. Now, he's clean cut, and it's like they've cut all the charisma off him. He was the one full of charisma. Tangaloa doesn't really have anything going for him, whereas Tama Tonga, although he wasn't the best wrestler, he did always have his charisma, and he just looks like a random guy you'd see in an NXT squash match. He should never have got rid of that hair, but yeah. The match itself was one of the best Gorillas of Destiny's matches I've ever seen. I thought it was great, to be honest. Really, really good, at least. Zack Sabre was great in this match. Taichi was really good, and they really carried God to one of the best matches you're likely to see. Sabre was particularly on fire in this match, but yeah, Sabre and Taichi are both of them looking really good. They go on to lose the match to God. God, 7-time champions. I couldn't believe when Kevin Kelly said that. 7-time tag team champions. That just shows how shit the tag division in New Japan can be at times. But going into the match, the highlight of the match was the spot where Zack's on the top rope. Taichi's got a submission on someone in the ring, on one of the Tongans in the ring. And you just hear Zack for ages going, Taichi, get your ass over here. I don't even need to put on an accent because he's English, although he's a bit more well-spoken than me. But he's going, get your ass over here. It's the fucking Tokyo Dome. Screaming, it's the fucking Tokyo Dome. And Zack and Taichi hit the Tower of Doom suplex on one of the Tongans. Can't remember which one because now the hordes are separate because they both look bland. And we had some really exciting near falls towards the end of this match. And just I was thinking, wow, this is it. We're getting our first great match of the night at Wrestle Kingdom. It just took away from everything. Giardo distracts the ref and they fucking use that stupid glove to win the match. And yeah, fuck off with the interference. A really negative end to what was a really good, well-worked match. Left a sour taste in the mouth. And the thing is, it doesn't put heat on God. It puts heat on New Japan because I'm sick of these interferences in matches, especially with these. But hey, it's just the way that it seemed to work. I went 3.5 stars on this match. Would have gone higher if it weren't for the shitty finish. Really enjoyed this one. Thought it was well worth. Thought Zack in particular looked fantastic. Next we had Kenta versus Kojima. Originally it was supposed to be Kenta versus Juice Robinson, but Juice Robinson suffered a broken orbital bone. Bad one there. This is a briefcase match for the US title. And the US champion Moxley appears on the screen. He looked like he was in the building where they film New Japan Strong from. And he says he's the boogeyman and he's coming for the winner. So yeah, an appearance from Moxley. And yeah, looks like Moxley Kenta is coming. So it looks like I've given away the winner of that match. But I think we all knew that Kenta was going to win. It was good. It got more time than you would have thought. Probably with it being only a 6-match card. Got more time than you would have perhaps thought. And it would have got on a normal Wrestle Kingdom. I think it went, I don't know, just over 15 minutes maybe. It was hard hitting. I thought both men did look good. There was a bit of fuckery with the briefcase on the outside. But apart from that, I thought it was a pretty good match. It was nothing special. They just worked a really good New Japan hard-hitting type match, and it was fine. Kenta won the match with a pretty tame-looking GTS, but I suppose he has injured people in the past with that. But yeah, this was a good match. I think I went 3.25, 3.25 stars on this. It was good. It was fine. And that took us into the half-time interval. Chris Charlton promises we're going to get a big announcement on this interval. Not sure if it was that big. We just got 8 seconds of New Japan is coming to your TV in the US and the UK. And that was it. So yeah, cheers for that one, Chris. I sat through, instead of fast forwarding through the cleaning and sanitizing of the ring, I sat and watched 15-20 minutes of this waiting for this big announcement. But yeah, so we come back and we get Tanahashi versus the Great Okan. It still sounds sickening saying that out loud. Tanahashi, the ace, the man who always has one of the best matches at the Dome, is facing the Great Okan. It was a ridiculous choice, as I spoke to if you listen to our preview show on Saturday night. Ridiculous choice of opponent for Tanahashi. Okan is mediocre at best, and I'm being generous on that. I don't mind having Tanahashi against new talent. Do you know what I mean? He faced Jay White the other year at Wrestle Kingdom. And people were annoyed enough about that. And Jay White is 5 times more talented than the Great Okan. But you sat there and you're thinking, you got Great Okan in a big, prominent position on a Wrestle Kingdom, and he's shit. And you've got Suzuki and Ishii, who are so suited to this clap crowd environment. And what I think Ishii, I'm not sure what Suzuki did. I'm pretty sure I heard that Ishii was in the opening battle royal. It's a bit of a disgrace, really. Suzuki and Ishii should be on these fucking cars. They were great. They were great last year. Great. And instead, what's the reward? Nothing. Not a fan of that. Suzuki and Ishii, do you know what I mean? We're not saying we want them to be world champions. We're saying give them a singles match. Give them something to do on Wrestle Kingdom. But, hey, run it over. The match itself, Tanahashi dragged the Great Okan kicking and screaming to a decent match. I can't see anyone else getting a better match out of the Great Okan. It was all Tanahashi. It was all Tanahashi that made everything good. Every time the Great Okan's getting any offense with his stupid screaming, I'm cringing, I'm sighing, I'm thinking, get this guy off my TV. Yeah, not a fan at all. No offense to the bloke, but yeah. They're making out like Tanahashi's about 60 years old as well. I'm sure he's about the same age, if not younger than AJ Styles. But whatever. They did. I like the touch where they had it where Tanahashi couldn't skin the cat at the start of the match, making out that maybe he can't do it anymore. But then eventually he manages to do it like 5-10 minutes later. There's the spot, and I'm thinking, I was saying on the previous show, Tanahashi's going to lose and turn heel. The chair, I don't know where this chair came from. The Great Okan brought it in, but it was sat on the ring. I'd love to know how that chair got there. But Tanahashi picks the chair up, and you think, is he going to use it? Is he going to use it? But no, he throws the chair down. He hits 2 high fly flows, and yeah, Tanahashi wins this match. Not sure why we needed it. They want to get the Great Okan over. I'm not sure why, because he's not good enough. He really is not good enough. And yeah, the story is that Tanahashi isn't quite done yet. I just wish he'd have had a better opponent to show it with. I wonder if maybe Tanahashi has a match with Ibushi. We've not thought of that. Maybe Tanahashi Ibushi in one of these new beginning shows coming up before we get the Ibushi Okada feud that I think we're all expecting at this moment in time. But yeah, match, I gave it 3 stars. As I say, I doubt Great Okan will ever have a higher singles match than this. Maybe I'm wrong, but just can't see it. Can't see it at all. So Tanahashi wins, thank God. Not sure why we needed the Great Okan as his opponent when there was loads of choices you could have instead. But they must see something in the Great Okan. Next, we have the first of the double main event, Okada versus Will Osprey. 2 of the top 5 best wrestlers in the world. Will Osprey's now he's calling himself the kingpin of the Commonwealth or something. We had a nice little video package. A great entrance for Osprey. As him and B are sat in like a cellar, watching Okada's greatest moments on a TV, and then Will Osprey smashes the TV to bits. Osprey comes out to his new theme, and it breaks my heart we don't get elevated anymore. Breaks my heart, really does. But we get a moment here which I felt pretty sad, really. Okada comes out, right, and he takes off his whatever, and he got rid of the trunks. He got rid of the trunks, and he's back to shorts. And I was just sat there thinking, oh my God, 2 years ago, the pop he got when he did that against Jay White, and it was just silence here. You could see the look on his face. He was like, yeah, that's a bit different. It was just sad. I thought, wow, that would have got a monster pop if there would have been fans. Well, there was fans. They just, for some reason, can't react. They're allowed to sit next to each other. They're basically sat on each other's knees, but they can't shout. Do you know what I mean? That'd be wrong. But hey. So yeah, the first 20 minutes felt like 5. When they announced 20 minutes, I was like, what? How are we on 20 minutes? It flew by. And the match, it was so hard hitting. The two brought incredible aggression to the match. We just got some great spots. We got Ospreay putting Okada through the thinnest of announce tables you will ever see. I liked how they got over also that Ospreay wasn't willing to take the count out victory. He's a heel, but he wants that win over Okada. So I did like that. It would have been easy to have the heel. I'm glad that Ospreay isn't going to be like this cowardly heel, like a Jay White or something. He is not willing to take the count out victory. But yeah, there were just some great spots. And this isn't a podcast where I'm going to read through, he did this move and then he did this move, as I've said time. But there was some nice little moments in the match. He went for a Stormbreaker on the apron. That got counted into a tombstone on the apron. I just said I'm not going to read through the moves, and that's exactly what I'm doing. But I don't know. It was just, he had the money clip in. There was just, I just thought it was, I loved this match. It was absolutely perfect. For me, I think it possibly would have been better in the final minute, but you could hear everything. You could hear everything, all the punches, the stiffness, the talking to each other. I don't think Ospreay kicked out of the Rainmaker, but the Rainmaker that ends the match, it literally took Ospreay's head off. Literally, it was a great Rainmaker, and I think the match went almost 40 minutes. And it was just, I'm not going to run through everything that happened in the match, but it was great. Ospreay looks great. He looked like a main eventer, and Okada. This was a top class Okada Wrestle Kingdom match at the Tokyo Dome. It was fantastic, and to me, it's no surprise that Okada did win this match. It was right for the feud, but I just didn't feel like this is. I don't feel like this is Ospreay's moment to beat Okada at Wrestle Kingdom. I know he won the match in the G1, but I think these two, Okada's 32, Ospreay's 28, something like that. I think these two are going to meet at Wrestle Kingdoms down the road, for sure. And this is going to be I think Okada, they'll probably have a title match where Okada might win, and then, say in 4 or 5 years, Ospreay will eventually get that win over Okada at a Wrestle Kingdom. But this match definitely helped elevate, pardon the pun, Ospreay up the card. But one thing I did notice at the end, Okada, he signals a 1, as if to say one more time, yeah. Points at the ring, so he goes 1, points at the ring, and then he puts his hand to his ear. So he's basically saying, we're going to do this again in this ring, in the Tokyo Dome, in front of fans, when they can actually make some noise. Well, that's what I took from it anyway. And I'm positive we will see Okada versus Ospreay at the Tokyo Dome at some point, and I will be doing my utmost best to make sure that I'm there for it. But yeah, great match. Okada gets the win. I think it was the right choice. I think Okada, like we've spoken about, is going to be heading up and facing Ibushi, or whoever's champion, probably Ibushi, for the IWGP Heavyweight title. I think they might hold it off to Dominion. But yeah, great. It was a great match. I'm not going to run through it all because that's not what I do on the podcast. But definitely go and check it out. An early match of the year contender. And I was like, yes, at least we can have these Wrestle Kingdom quality matches when the crowd can't make any noise. So yeah, I was on a high after this match. And then we get Booshie versus Naito. And I thought they've got a big job topping this. This is for the double title. I'll be honest, I wasn't that hyped going in to this match or into with a story or anything, but the pageantry of Wrestle Kingdom, the excitement I had from the previous match, by the time they was coming out to the ring, I was on the edge of my seat, excited for this. Rocky Romero had a great line where he said, "The doctor's here behind us because of these two psychopaths," which made me laugh. The first 5 minutes, they started off really slow, yeah. They started off slow, and they've got... So Naito's got him in a headlock, and I thought, oh, maybe they're going like an hour here or something. Maybe they'll do the time limit draw, head to a triple threat match. No. As soon as I'm thinking that, they're on the outside, overhead suplex from Naito to Ibushi on the ramp, and we're off. We're off at the races. 10 minutes in, we've got Naito landing on his head from a clothesline on the ring apron. We get that amazing moment where I thought they was teasing doing the spot where Ibushi banged his head at a Dominion 18 months ago. But it was like Ibushi leaped up, head scissors, off the apron, onto the floor, and the leap from Ibushi was a great moment. I'm not going to run through moods, it's not this sort of podcast, as I'm about to tell you, Naito hit a poison rana to Ibushi. We had Ibushi kicking out of a Destino, and we got, for me, one of the moments of the match. Kevin Kelly was excellent, and the other commentators in this, they're punching each other, they're making loads of noise. And this is going back and forth. It's great. I don't know if you can hear that. Flipping out. I'm talking about Ibushi Naito at Wrestle Kingdom in a great match. And some dickhead outside my flat is playing music. But yeah, if you didn't hear that, I didn't even need to mention it. Sometimes I'll mention that and I bet it didn't even pick up. But yeah, so I'm back to this. The moment where they're punching and screaming each other, the commentators fall quiet and it's just going back and forth in this silent arena. These two are stealing the show at Wrestle Kingdom and they're just trading blows back and forth. It was a moment that I won't forget. I thought it was an eerie moment. It's not one that you're probably going to get to see again because the crowd will be making noise. That's one of the benefits, I know there's not many, of not having a crowd that makes noise. You can hear every shot. But yeah, we get in. These two they're just kicking out of each other's finishes. There was one point where I'm thinking, Naito, you've just been hit by your second Kamigoye, and you just up. You're not selling anything. But as wrestling fans, we're taught to suspend our disbelief. And yeah, so they both kicked out. I think Ibushi kicked out of 2 Destinos. Naito kicked out of 2 Kamigoyes. But I'm thinking it's over, and I'm thinking, wow, the crowd would be going crazy at these finisher kickouts. But the match comes to an end. Ibushi hits a mid-air knee, and then he just runs up to Naito and hits that 3rd Kamigoye. The crowd go, oh! And Ibushi is your double champion. What a match. Classic match. I was thinking, are these matches going to have the... Do you know what I mean? In 5-10 years, are we going to want to go back and rewatch these matches or not? Because it's going to be from a sad time where there's no crowd making noise. But this match for me was fucking brilliant. Probably the best Ibushi Naito match I've seen. I was there live for the match at MSG. This was better than that one. I think it was better than the match at Dominion 2019. They had quite a few matches in that year. But yeah, I think this is the best match that I've seen from the two. Obviously, it does help when you've got them trading finishes in the last 5 minutes if that's what you're into. But yeah, great match. I was loving it. And I loved the bit where Ibushi was dead on the mat for a minute or two. And he goes for the cover. And then it's he realises he's won while he's got the cover on. The referee's telling him, you've won, you don't need to cover him. It was a great moment when Ibushi realises that he's won. Thought it was a nice little touch. I do think this match would have been probably match of the year for this year. I know it's only early, we're four days into it, but I do think it was... I think this match would have been a 5-star match, I'll be honest, with a crowd going crazy for those near falls. I really, really strongly believe that. And we get a great moment at the end when Naito hands the belt to Ibushi, then raises his hands. Really great moment. But Jay White sort of ruins it at the end. He comes out, cuts a promo, says Ibushi's not the real champion. His reign will last for one night. And Ibushi, he says that he's going to finish Jay tomorrow and thanks the crowd for coming. And Wrestle Kingdom 15, night 1, goes off there with Ibushi stood on the stage with raising both belts as fireworks hit the Tokyo sky. So yeah, great ending, great double main event, great show. Do you know what I mean? That's it. If you, no matter what happens really before, if your main event delivers and if your semi-main event delivers like that, it's a great show. Absolutely fantastic. I wish I could have been there for Ibushi versus Naito. I think I went 4.75, 4 3/4 stars on Okada Ospreay, and I went 4 3/4 stars on Ibushi Naito. My match of the night though is narrowly Ibushi Naito. Just great match, classic match. Yeah, absolutely great. So yeah, really good show. So tomorrow, we'll go on to tomorrow's card. Quickly give you a quick little. We already previewed it on Saturday night show, but I'll just quickly run through the card. We've got the King of Pro Wrestling 4-way match to open the show. Second match, we've got Kanemaru and Desperado defending against Wato and Taguchi. Shingo Takagi versus Jeff Cobb. We're relying on that to be a good match, as said. Sonada versus Evil. That's going to be really interesting to see if they can deliver. Hopefully there's not much fuckery in that one. Ishimori is going to defend the Junior Heavyweight Championship against Hiromu. And then the main event is Jay White versus Ibushi. So as we've said, the matches tomorrow are not quite there in terms of, do you know what I mean? They're not. I can't really see. I'm struggling to see where the actual great match is going to come from. But do you know what I mean? That Cobb Shingo could be great. Could be, like we say, if Jeff Cobb pulls his finger out. Ishimori versus Hiromu. They've had classic matches before. But will that style work in front of a crowd? Will it? It can do, but it didn't on night one for me. It didn't in night one in that big old building. The Hiromu versus ELP match for me didn't quite deliver. But, do you know what I mean? These two have great chemistry. Maybe Hiromu was saving himself for night two. And then Ibushi, Jay White, these two had that classic, well, no, for me it wasn't a classic, it was a very good G1 final. They've had other good matches along the way, so they could deliver, but with Jay White, you just never quite know what you're going to get. Great character, good worker, but is he capable of going out there and giving us the 4.5 star plus match that the other big hitters in New Japan are capable of doing? We will see. We'll see tomorrow. The pressure is on that he's in the main event at Wrestle Kingdom, and he needs to go out there and do what Will Osprey's done. Will Osprey is going to be chasing Jay White's spot in real life and in storyline, yeah? And Jay White needs to go out there and deliver an Osprey level match, and whether he will or not, that we'll have to wait and see. I mean, there's a lot. It's looking, for me, I think what might happen. I can't see past Ibushi retaining the belt. At first, I thought Jay White, like when we did the preview show, but I just think it's Ibushi's week. This is Ibushi. This is Ibushi's time. Booshie should retain the belt. I think we're going to get interference. Unfortunately, I don't want to see it, but we are going to get interference from Bullet Club. It might start, do you know what I mean? Both sides of Bullet Club feuding with each other. I do think that's what's going to happen. I do think, I mean, for me, if Jay White wins, where do we go? Where do we go? To Jay White versus Okada? Sin that. I think the way to go is you have Ibushi. He can go on. Ibushi as champion can go on, have a few successful defenses against, say, Zack Sabre Jr., against a Taichi. They had a great match in the, a very highly praised match in the G1. And then he can go on to face Okada at a Dominion. Yeah? Bullet Club, they'll implode. They can feud with each other. I think that will probably definitely happen, if not tomorrow, at New Year's Dash. And then we've got ready-made. We've got Shingo, Jeff Cobb, yeah? Shingo's LIJ, Jeff Cobb's the Empire, yeah? I think you might even see both parties. Maybe Ospreay and what's he called? Great Okan all can come out, try and help Jeff Cobb. Maybe Naito or someone else from LIJ can even the odds up. And then we can have the LIJ, the inevitable LIJ Empire feud. I don't think Naito and Ospreay it's a fresh match, so that'd be the way to go forward with that. So I can see Naito, Ospreay, Evil Jay White, and then Ibushi, once we get to it, Ibushi Okada taking us through towards Dominion. But we'll see. I mean, I'm satisfied after night one that I've had my 2 great Wrestle Kingdom level matches. So it'd be nice to get another one tomorrow. I'd just take one match above 4.5 stars tomorrow. I'm not sure which one it's going to be. On paper, really, you'd say Hiromu against Ishimori, but it's going to be tough. Going to be very tough, but it's going to be interesting to see what they can do. Hopefully the show delivers as much as night one. I'm not sure it will, but hey, we still had night one. It was a great show. But we'll see. Maybe I'll be doing the podcast tomorrow. Great transition. And yeah, maybe we'll do the podcast tomorrow and I'll be saying, wow, what a night. We got 3 4.5 star matches. But I'm not quite that confident. But hey, so that was it. That was all the talk from night one. It was a great night of wrestling. I really enjoyed it. That double main event will live long in the memory. 2 of the best matches from the pandemic era of wrestling. We're about an hour away, by the sounds of it, of Boris Johnson putting us in another lockdown. I'm not going to state my opinion on that, but hey, looks like it's going to happen. So that's it. We'll be back tomorrow to review night 2 of Wrestle Kingdom. So if you've not already, subscribe to us on YouTube. Just search WWE versus AEW. I think we're like 5th or 6th on the list on YouTube for that. Twitter is at WWE versus AEW, or if you want my own personal one, it is at BallBDaniel. At BallBDaniel. Patreon. Support us on Patreon. It's www.patreon.com/neutral wrestling. Please give us a 5-star rating on Apple, the WWE versus AEW podcast. So yeah, that's it. There are all the plugs. I'll be back tomorrow to talk night 2 of Wrestle Kingdom 15. Thanks for listening, and I hope you enjoyed the show.